Hello and welcome to the Darby Creek Diaries. I'm Gale Thompson and today we're going to make an infinitive card that looks super complicated, but really it's not that bad using the new Concord and 9th Infinity die. I saw this when I was watching, along with everybody else, all the cool things going on at Creativation. Now the pieces look a little wonky, but I'll explain it as I go. Basically, you're going to make 4 half moons, and there'll be some marks where you can make your fold lines in it, so it's very simple and straightforward. But I thought I would do sort of a mock-up for you. So side 1, this is the first thing you'll see, then 2, and then you will flip those center pieces out. And then you're going to see 3, but it's also going to have part of 2. So we have to remember that when we're putting things in the middle. And then we're going to flip it out and you'll see 4. And then it takes you back to 1. Concord and 9th has a kind of a jig on their website, and I will link to it below for you. And basically you just would line up like a kind of a shotgun sight here. You don't really absolutely have to have it, but if it makes you feel better to line things up, then go ahead and copy it. So I drew pencil lines on all of the fold marks just so you would have an idea of where we place the glue, because it's really important to place the glue only in the spots that I show you. So I'm going to fold everything here and get it kind of loosened up. And I'm going to draw that pencil mark that I forgot. And now we're going to put this sucker together. So you make sure the key is everything does have to be lined up for it to work correctly, but it's not as hard as it looks. So all 4 pieces here are now together for our little jig. Now, if you look up in the corner, there is a fold mark right there, and then another fold mark where you see the paper folded. The only place that you will put adhesive, be it double-sided tape or glue, is in that little pie-shaped piece. And then you just stick it down, and then we, as I like to say, rinse, repeat. We put it there as well. And you hold it for a couple seconds. This is very quick drying glue. Glue just seems to work better for me because I need wiggle room. And it's hard to tear double-sided tape and have it come out the right size for me. So I'm doing the glue. So back down to our little pie wedge and add your glue. Press it down. Go to the other side. Now, as I said, this is just sort of an example for you. You don't really need to draw all those pencil marks. It'll ruin your card. So now I'm showing you what that looks like compared to the jig there that I showed you. So we're going to open it up, but it does take a little bit of folding. It takes a few folds for it to get efficient in your flipping, but eventually you'll get that paper so it's nice and pliable for you. I took some Lawn Fawn Watercolor Wishes paper because I wanted to speed up the coloring for this, because it's not really about the decoration, it's about engineering the card. So I went ahead and used this Watercolor Wishes. It makes a great base, so all you have to do is add a little bit of color to it. And I'm just going to use the Altenew Obsidian black ink, which I really love. It's a crisp ink and it's a pigment ink, so you can easily emboss. And I'm just putting clear embossing powder on there. I forgot to use my powder bag, but I got lucky on this one. But make sure you use your powder bag. That peony is from a Hero Arts set that was with Altenew. This year was Hero Arts' 45th birthday, and so they have collaborated with several companies for some beautiful sets. And that's how quickly that turned out. I don't have the dies for this, but I like to fussy cut sometimes. And just make sure you turn the paper and not the scissors. And I'm not going to cut this whole thing for you, but I thought I would show you a little bit. You just want to have some little tiny sharp scissors. Those are cutter bees and they work pretty good. The tips are good on them and you can get in those real tight spaces. Now I'm just going to glue our green pieces together. I just die cut the same as with the base of the card. You don't want to use real heavy cardstock for your base. It makes it kind of difficult to crease and fold. So that white is only 80-pound cardstock. And the watercolor, which is really thin. So I'm going to add the color from the outside. I saw this on Jennifer McGuire's channel, which is a great idea because you can use pattern paper, add a little color on the edge. It just brings it to life instead of just flat. And I am using a Waffle Flower watercolor media mat, and it really does a great job. It even holds on to the paper a little bit there for you. Now, I would have probably done this ahead of time instead of adding the green after it was attached, but I didn't think of it. So I used a polka dot stamp from Concord and 9th on the back. Now you have to be careful when you're doing this to remember which thing's going to show at what time. The front and back's easy, but the middle gets a little dicey. So I'm going to glue on my corners just like I showed you in my example, down there in that corner. And then we'll put this whole thing together for you relatively quick. I think it gets quicker every time you do it. The first one, well, it'll take a little while, but using this little bullseye thing, I think, does help. I hope everybody is having a good winter. It has been very mild here in Ohio. And in a week, I get to go to Florida. I can't wait. I'll visit the scrapbooking store down there, Treasured Memories. It's a really nice store down in Englewood, Florida, if you're ever down there. And go to the beach. I think I need a little sun therapy. Now I'm folding these back because we need to get the paper used to the folds, and it takes a little doing even with the 80-pound paper. So I just get my bone folder out and get it till I work it and get it into shape. Here we go, looking good. Now I'm going to add the peony on the front, and I kind of was thinking how I was going to do this and what would make sense, and I just decided to fold back one of those semicircles and glue it down with it being whole. And then I'm going to, missed a little spot there. Then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to carefully, I know it's kind of scary, but I figured, hey, I didn't color the whole thing, so it wouldn't be that bad. And I'm just trimming off the bottom. That's the beauty of pattern paper. It puts a lot of the color there for you, and it's a time saver. And for me, it's a talent saver because I'm not that great of a colorer. I admit it. One of these days, I will do one of the classes that I bought that are sitting on my computer. Now I'm just going to press everything down, and we have our cover and we have the back. Now for the middle. I'm just taking that same Altenew Obsidian black ink, and I couldn't decide what kind of card to make this, so it's just sort of a general card. Take time to smell the flowers. It came off the same stamp set as the flower, and I'm wiping it off. I don't spend a lot of time cleaning my stamps. I probably should, but especially pigment ink, it won't hurt it at all. and I think it might even help keep them soft. Then I'm adding sentiments to the two little flaps on the side, and this is one of the dies. They've got a speech bubble die and a little flag die and lots of other dies to use. But this was more about engineering the card and not so much about decorating. So I'm just quickly going to stamp this and more of that watercolor wishes card and just glue it down using that same using that same glue. And that is Art Glitter Glue, and it is pretty much my new go-to glue, especially for getting into tight areas. And I find it doesn't clog, and I really do like it. I'm in a basement, and glue gets a little cold, and it doesn't like to work, but this does a great job. So I'm using my bone folder to get my paper all happy, get it to behave the way I want it to. And yeah, you kind of will see it's sort of, so I thought, well, this is kind of wonky and I can't really cover it because that would be messing up my stage before. So I just took my finger and put a little stamp on it and stamped some butterflies. Your finger is the best tool you'll ever have. And I decided I better make it consistent, so I stamped all over the card. And here is the final project. You can add more things to it if you want, but I thought, wow, is this fun? And I can just flip this all day long. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you'll come back and see me, subscribe, tell your friends, and come back and visit me. I'm going to be part of a huge giveaway hop in March, the Save the Crafty YouTuber hop. So, but I'll be back before then. I'm going to leave you some videos to watch, and hopefully you'll enjoy them, and you will have a fabulous week, and come back and see me. Bye-bye.